YouTube, welcome to my channel. I'm Bella and I'm going to be reviewing Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. The good stuff. One, the acting performances, particularly of the new Gellert Grindelwald. Wonderful, wonderful performance. Excellent. Can't knock anybody's acting. The visuals, beautiful. The music, lovely. The CGI, wonderful. The animals, lovely because the CGI ones, really good attention to detail all the way throughout. That is great. The story, oh my goodness, it was less messy than it has been in the past, but that doesn't mean that it's good. It was a total disaster. Yes, it focused more on Dumbledore and Dumbledore's family. Now this is quite interesting because I think Dumbledore was actually doing something really quite clever throughout the movie, and I know he does loads of things, and he's not the same Dumbledore that we are used to. He's not the omniscient, the all-seeing, all-knowing Dumbledore. He's learning. But he was, in this film, he did two things. One, he had a difference between his public persona and his private persona, and he kept them very separate. And actually that's part of the problem with this film, is if you're going to have a film about the secrets of Dumbledore, you don't want him going off with his brother into a little room and Newt having to sort of look round the corner of the door, as he does in one scene, to actually get the details that are key to the plot. And I fully appreciate that Dumbledore guards his family's privacy really carefully, but you're in a movie, love. You're actually going to have to sort of like tell us what happened, and I would have really appreciated some flashbacks. They were needed because I felt huge disservice to the story of Aberforth Dumbledore, who, as we all know, yes, he did get prosecuted by the Ministry of Magic for inappropriate charms on goats, but I would have really liked to have seen some more of all of their sort of teenagerhood actually take place, because in this film, yes, spoiler alert, Aberforth is a teenage father, shock horror, but bearing in mind both his parents are dead, his eldest brother is a douchebag who's hanging around with another douchebag planning to kill all the muggles. And yeah, there was just a whole lot of, it was douchey. Dumbledore's past is hugely douchey, terrible. But to be absolutely honest, if you're going to make a movie about it, you're going to actually have to have some flashbacks. I mean, at least we got that in Harry Potter, we had flashbacks. We deserve flashbacks. It doesn't have to be explicit. I'm not asking for, 18 restricted material here. I'm just asking for some flashbacks because they would have helped the story. Because are we supposed to be focusing on the story with Newt now? Or Aurelius, also known as Credence? Or are we supposed to be focusing on Grindelwald and his fact that he had two women and he was sizing them up? Because I don't think that he's just gay. I actually think that he's going to father a child with the female Rosa, the brown-headed one. That's another thing, character names. I don't know who half these people are. I know Newt, I know Dumbledore, I know Tina, who actually wasn't in the movie until the end, I know Queenie, and I know Jacob, and I know Theseus. Apart from that, everybody else could have been sugar-frosted dressing. Yeah, and another thing, they should have done radio announcements. Yes, they got rid of the annoying Paris, France or Berlin, Germany tags underneath because that's annoying. But they should have done, like they've done successfully before with the newspaper headlines, but they were so quick that you actually couldn't read some of them. It was like, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. And it was the same with the symbols for the three people that were supposed to be getting elected for the International Wizarding Confederation. I mean, it would have been great at the start of the film if somebody had announced, and this year, as everybody knows, is the year of the International Confederacy picks a new leader, just to set everybody up. So this is what's going to happen. Grindelwald's going to infiltrate that. And I appreciate what Bunty, bless her, said, that no one person can know everything because of, obviously, Grindelwald. He is not a legitimate, he can't read minds, but he can see the future and he's rather good at it. But I did not expect to see him murdering the magical version of Bambi and turning it into a zombie and then it dying, because that's effectively what we had. There was a huge foreshadowing of Harry Potter, the fact that Credence / Aurelius, whatever his name is, defied the Dark Lord 3 times like the Potters and the Longbottoms do eventually. I would have actually liked to have seen Gellert bring out like a standard manifesto or have a bit where he actually says what he's about, because he is so unclear. We know that he said, oh, I don't hate the no-mage, the cant spells from the crimes of Grindelwald, and then he says, I hate them. he is such a man of subtlety and contradiction that he's actually really difficult to pin down. And I'm loving the fact that you've got 3 different or 4 different people to play, 5 if you consider, yes, we've had a flashback to the young one, yes, we've seen him old when in Guard, where Voldemort murders him in the books and in the movies, but I'm cross about the movies for that because they did a huge disservice, because it said with him, of course, meaning the you-know-what was with you-know-who, the other you-know-who that isn't Dumbledore. It's going to get confusing, people, keep up. But in the books, Grindelwald doesn't tell you-know-who where the wand is. He doesn't tell him at all. I would have really liked some flashbacks. In fact, this story deserves flashbacks. In fact, let's get rid of the Fantastic Beasts thing because it's doing nothing for this story, and let's just call it what it is. The problems, Dumbledore's problems with my ex-gay lover. Because that is what is actually happening here. And at the end of the film, I don't quite know what I should be feeling for this extremely privileged, pure-blood, white, gay male who is somehow an outsider. And you just sort of think, And bearing in mind that the wizarding population is small, it's one of the reasons why they come of age at 17 in the UK. Because they want them to breed, because wizards live for a very, very, very long time. So, as we know from the Crimes of Grindelwald, where we see what happens to Letta Lestrange's mum, she gets hoodwinked into marrying another guy so that she can have some more children, because she's proven, she has boys. I'm going to have Corvus, and obviously Corvus unfortunately drowns. But actually, had Letta not switched, it would have been Credence that would have drowned. So it's just, oh my goodness, it's a whole mind job. But at least they cleared up the fact. This is the only thing that I really enjoyed, huge spoiler one. At least they cleaned up the fact that Gellert Grindelwald did not pull his wand on Dumbledore, Aberforth or Ariana Dumbledore. He just laughed when the 2 brothers got wands out on each other. He just laughed. So that's nice to know. But I mean, a flashback might have been better, or better yet, actually allowing the audience to discover stuff. The fact that Queenie comes in and says to Credence, I don't tell him everything you say. And I was like, that's great, but why are you giving me exposition? We're in a movie. You should be showing me. I should have a scene of sort of like previously, like in the Crimes of Grindelwald, a little summary, and then maybe sort of like what they've been doing, what Grindelwald's been doing. We don't have to know all of it, but just little hints. J.K. Rowling used to be really good in the books, in the 7 books, which are about Harry Potter and Tom Riddle. You learn so much more. Admittedly, you're from that character's perspective, so you would do, but this is very annoying, and I appreciate what Bunty said, you can't know everything, but having weird nostalgia for Harry Potter. I mean, they played The Wondrous World of Harry music during the scene. I was like, he's not even born yet, how is this relevant? And then proceeded to sort of like see at the monster book of monsters chomping and things, Quidditch things flying around, and I was like, and loads of gold things and pastries. I was like, this is great, but this isn't actually, we're not here for this, we're here to get this information. The fact that it's taking her 5 movies to give us Dumbledore's family backstory is excruciatingly painful. No disrespect to the movies, because they're doing a wonderful job with lousy scripts and a story that is just incomprehensible. I mean, it's a 12A. You're supposed to be able to take a 9-year-old and they're supposed to understand this. Some of this, I sort of think, right, let's just take the 12A off. Clearly we want to go into the adult world. Let's make this about adult wizards and go there. Because Hogwarts felt sort of like, oh, this is Hogwarts, but it's really small because we're a load of adults walking in. And it just felt sort of like, really, we're going to do this? And the Ministry is about as useful as a toothpick, as we all know. So overall, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. And one of those points is purely for the CGI and pretty visuals, because those animals are really good and the magic is good, and it's all wandless. It's wandless magic, and it's also wordless spell magic, which makes it even harder for audiences to follow, to be absolutely honest, to know what spell is being fired. But then again, we are dealing with highly proficient and adult wizards at the top of their game, not just anybody. But when we went to all this posh party, we've got all the wizarding politicians, they haven't even got name badges on. And I know, I fully appreciate why they wouldn't, but actually, as a moviegoer, we perhaps needed a little bit more of that. And I'm not being funny, but if you just came to this, if this was your first introduction to the wizarding world, you'd have been completely lost. Annoyingly, behind me in the cinema, I had one woman explain the whole plot of The Crimes of Grindelwald before this movie started, because her friend just turned around and said, "Oh, I've forgotten what happened in the last one, fill me in." And I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to be like this all the way through. Fantastic Beasts movies, great concept, very poorly executed. And I'm ignoring the whole turf war going on with J.K. Rowling, and I'm ignoring the whole business with Johnny Depp, because Johnny Depp played an excellent Gellert Grindelwald, as did Mads, the new one. I'm loving the fact that he went a completely different route. I'm loving it. I love that. Really, really good performances. The actors were great. The story, it's better, but not by much. And what was the whole business with that big door? Because I know that's going to tie into the legacy game that they're bringing out. That so does. Does anybody get those vibes? Anyway, please like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about The Secrets of Dumbledore in the comments below. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye. And thank you for the support. Bye.